Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we will be talking about another large winter storm that will be occurring pretty far south across the United States. As you can see, I have the Canadian model pulled up, but the most interesting one right now is the GFS model. So basically what we have going on right now is a system, a lot of cold air, right, from the system that is pulling away that we've been talking about the past few videos. Dumped a lot of snow across Missouri. Kansas City ended up with over, foot and a half of snow there, and into Illinois, Indiana, tons of snow, almost 18 inches, I believe, in some areas. In northwestern Kansas was the highest report I've seen on the National Weather Service official snowfall database website. But do note that after that system pulls away, we do have an abundant amount of cold air, but we still have the Gulf of Mexico kicking up. We see a system, a very weak disturbance coming from the north, and this is where the GFS differs from the European. So the European does develop a system down here, a very strong one, but it doesn't merge it with this northern, I guess, clipper, if you will. So this will bring some snow into the Dakotas, into Montana, Wyoming. Nothing significant, though. But do note that what this does is it merges with this southern one, right, and provides a lot of not only cold air, but snow. So first off, though, it does bring us a lot of snow into Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri. You can see even northern Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, probably going to see quite a few inches of snow, maybe 5 to 6. But just north of you, there could be as much as a foot of snow. Do note that as we continue riding into the future time frame, we see that northern piece, which is still right here, merging with the southern piece of energy. And what it does, it provides a big blossom of energy into Illinois, Wisconsin, Missouri, and you can see that it provides quite a bit of snow for the northern areas, but it continues bringing snow across, say, Tennessee, Kentucky, the North Carolina, South Carolina, seeing some ice and snow, quite a bit of ice there could be in the mountains especially. And what the GFS does that's so interesting, as I mentioned, it turns this into a clipper system. Sorry, not a clipper system, a nor'easter. It churns it out, and it turns into a very powerful storm that brings very heavy snow across the northeast. You could see it bombs it out at 968 millibars. Whether or not that'll happen remains to be seen. The GFS has been relatively consistent, though, from model run to model run with this nor'easter. You could see today in the morning, yesterday at midnight, it was showing a system a little further off coast, but it's been bringing it on and off the coast. You could see there for quite some time now. While the GFS shows that, and I'll show you some of these snowfall mounts here in just a second, I want to show you what the European has been showing in the meantime. So do note that the European has been also showing quite a bit of cold air across the south. Obviously, you need that in order for the snow to develop, and it does bring that first wave right here, and you can see it does develop snow across Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas. It does favor a bit heavier snow across these areas in the south as compared to the GFS. Which model will be correct remains to be seen. But do note, it never fully merges with this system, right? The system, while it does have snow over here, its main energy stays further towards the north, it seems, and it allows no snow really to occur in the same way that the GFS does, but it still brings snow into Tennessee, Kentucky, northern Alabama, Mississippi, but it doesn't develop it into a significant storm. So you can see by the time it reaches the Carolinas, the Mid-Atlantic, it's just coming off the coast as a strong low pressure, but it doesn't get picked up by the jet stream and cast to the north. So the European and GFS have completely two different snowfall footprints. Notice that the European, let's go to our 168. Yeah, so by this time the snow is over, and if you take a look at the total snowfall, assuming a 10-to-1 ratio, you can see it shows quite a bit of snow in northeastern Texas, even up to 14, 15 inches, so a foot of snow possible. But south of Oklahoma City, half a foot, Arkansas, a big system, especially for the south. Potentially bringing some snow, as far south as Mississippi as well. Alabama, Georgia don't seem to get as much from this, and you can see that it leaves the Mid-Atlantic high and dry, as opposed to the GFS with its most latest model run. But honestly, you can see it's been consistent for a few model runs now. It does show snow here, similar levels of intensity as the European, does show snow further up north as well, but also most importantly and most different from the European, yes, it shows a lot of snow here across the northeast, up to 40 to 30 inches in some of these model runs. And you can see in the most latest model run, it shows a track of snow into Kentucky, Tennessee, of quite a bit of snow. And again, quite a heavy blast for the northeast. At this point, I don't know really which model has a better handle on it. The European has been kind of going back and forth. The GFS, you can see from model run to model run, has been more consistent with that nor'easter, has been more consistent with the system overall, and it does show strengthening signs of a snow swath into Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin on the northern side, while the European has been also relatively stubborn in not showing that snow swath, though yesterday at some point in the evening it looked like it started to come up in line with the GFS, but as soon as it did, we lost it. And this system isn't that far out. I mean, especially across the southern United States, this will begin to develop around 80, 70 hours out in terms of the snowfall, which is enough for the models like the NAM 12KM to be picking up. So we'll have to wait and see how the high resolution models interpret this. But for now, it's a battle of the models. The Canadian, which sometimes is the one that, is like the deciding model if both are being stubborn, is, of course, just in between both of them. So it's really hard to say. You can see it develops that snow across Texas, Oklahoma, a lot of precipitation, brings that snow into, say, Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, Michigan, but not to the same intensity the GFS, but further north than the European. And it does develop a system across the Northeast, but again, not as much as the GFS, but not as little as the European. So right smack in the middle. So we'll have to wait and see what the models do with this. For now, it is rather a little confusing, and we will just have to wait and see how this unfolds. And you can see that the European comes out 2 times per day. That goes out to 360 hours, and then another 2 times per day at 6 and 18Z standard time comes out only 244 hours. But because the system isn't that far out, with its most recent model run that came out just a few hours ago, the European, you can see, develops the system to the south. Hey, this has been pretty consistent with both models, so I'm really confident there will be a lot of snow across Texas, Oklahoma. We do, unfortunately, this model is weird. It loses the feature of the rain and snow, but basically you could follow this blue and red line, squiggly line, to see where that rain snow will be. But yeah, for some reason this thing's glitching on me. And notice that it seems that, again, it's stubborn. It doesn't show a lot of snow further north. It keeps it further south. There may have been a hair of a tick northward with this most recent model run, but again, it seems as if the European would not favor a GFS-like scenario. And if we go to total snowfall footprint, which allows us to see 144 hours out, you can see, again, keeps most of that snow, a lot of it, across Texas, Oklahoma, pretty far south, but it just doesn't develop that nor'easter like the GFS does. And this would be already by Sunday, so if it's, it would be developing right here for the GFS, the European is not showing that. So we'll have to wait and see. For now, it remains to be seen. Both models are being very, very stubborn and very ridiculous, but we'll just have to wait and see. Sometimes it is like this, where we don't really have a solution to the problems. I can show you the GFS total snowfall. So this one, obviously, I think I already showed you a few times, though, would be more of a broad and significant for the Northeast, while the European seems to favor a lot less snow for, say, upper Midwest and the central Midwest and into the Northeast, and favors more snow for the South. If we were to take a look at the National Weather Service snowfall outlook, there is a feature on this website that allows us to look at this. It only goes out to 84 hours out because they don't like forecasting further out, and it makes sense. You can see that they are beginning to show some snow across Texas and whatnot, so the confidence is definitely pretty high for these areas to receive quite a bit of snowfall. And again, the cities even like Dallas could end up seeing up to half a foot of snow. So I'll keep you guys updated. For now, though, this thing is definitely going to be an interesting feature, an interesting system to watch, especially since it's occurring so far south. A lot of these cities and areas aren't usually as well prepared as, say, other cities in the north, so a snowstorm here could be a lot more impactful, and this one is an impactful system wherever really it would lie, because a foot of snow is a foot of snow. Even for the north, that's in some areas, a decent bit. So especially, across Texas, Arkansas, and whatnot. And if the GFS is right, we may be looking at a monster nor'easter, which the GFS has been favoring for a while the European, while it has been a little less consistent, has been more or less favoring its own solution with no snowstorm for the Northeast. But at least they are in line and in agreement with this first big wave across the South. You can see Texas there, Arkansas, Oklahoma. The European definitely showing a lot of moisture and a lot of cold air. And that's the thing with these southern systems, because they are so close to the Gulf, they can have tons of moisture in them. As long as there's enough cold air, they can really pump up a lot of snow. But yeah, it's a little weird. The European just completely avoids the Northeast, and the GFS shows a blockbuster system. So at this point, I would say it's, any model can be right, and we'll just have to keep an eye on this, and I'll, of course, keep you guys updated on this major winter storm potentially across the United States, southern United States. That's it for today, though. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode. See ya. Bye.